Well, thank you so much for kind introduction. I'm really honored to be here. This is my third BBL seminar. Always I enjoyed talking about North Korea initially, and nowadays about geopolitics and economic security. The last year I gave a seminar about how South Korea and Japan cooperate economically. And as Professor TAMURA-san mentioned, we published a report December last year about Japan-Korea Plus Economic and Security Partnership Framework. So my talk is based on this proposed policy report, but to make it more interesting, I will not look at the slide by slide, which takes a lot of time, maybe less interesting. So I will talk about why we need cooperation to start with, and then how to cooperate. First of all, I think we are living in very distinctive period. In 2009, I guess, the book entitled "This Time is Different" was published. Rogoff and Reinhardt published why there was a financial crisis in 2008 in the United States. And they said that at that time, liquidity did not matter. That was a view shared by many businessmen and even with some policymakers. So even though there is a lot of money supply, it didn't cause any problems. Okay? They believed this time is different. But that was proved to be wrong. Okay? That was the main argument of Rogoff and Reinhardt. I would say, really, this time is different. I see this time, the first time in my life. I'm over 60 years old, so I think this time is very different from the period which I have lived so far. When I studied the Russian economy, I didn't expect this kind of war between Russia and Ukraine. It's kind of old legacy of Cold War. Okay? Cold War still, still lingering in this world. I don't know whether this ends. Okay, this war ends sooner or later. Afterwards, is there no war? I don't know. Okay. The second one is, as we know already, there is U.S. China hegemony rivalry, creating a lot of disruptions and troubles for Korea and for Japan and for other countries. And then we observe so-called AI revolution. Somebody called this fourth revolution. Okay. Well, whenever we have a revolution, in this revolution, we see a lot of uncertainties, good or bad. Okay. And we don't know how this AI revolution, where this revolution brings us, what will be our destination, what will be our world, what will be our society, our jobs, our life is uncertain. So somehow we are living in the world in which three factors of uncertainty overlap. Old Cold War, U.S. China rivalry, and then AI revolution. So at different time, we have to acknowledge this is not actually the period we have been living so far. And so we need a new perspective, new thinking, perhaps new direction. Otherwise, I think our fate will not be so bright. Our fate as a country will be determined by the outcome, of how we respond, react to the three important factors. And how we navigate this turbulent time will determine perhaps our prosperity, even our existence. And I think opportunities are here as well, because of this revolution, okay, AI revolution, and because of conflicts, but there may be some kind of opportunities for us. Okay. Then the question is, how to navigate, okay, this very distinctive, difficult world? Well, obviously, we have to be somehow protected, okay, and somehow united, okay, aligned. Okay. In Korea, there is a kind of a proverb: shrimp's back gets broken in a fight between whales. Okay. In other words, in English proverb, is a similar one is that perhaps is the when elephants fight, it's the grass that suffers. If we are shrimp, if we are grass, okay, our fate will not be that bright. Okay, so it's inevitable for South Korea to be aligned with other partner countries. Then the question is, why Japan? First of all, we have similar geopolitical challenges. I didn't mention about North Korea, but obviously North Korean threat is visible and dangerous. And we face the same geopolitical challenge, okay, caused by North Korea. And North Korea has somehow alliance with Russia and China. So geographically and geopolitically, South Korea and Japan, okay, should be together. Okay. And also, perhaps we have opportunities to combine our resources, our talents. Okay. Well, except China, if I can list any countries which have manufacturing capacities in the world, I would call these countries, and not so many. Okay. Perhaps Japan, Korea, and Taiwan, not so many countries have so-called gene for manufacturing. Without manufacturing industry, I don't know how South Korea, okay, could survive in this turbulent time. The same applies to Taiwan. Without TSMC, for example, okay, how Taiwanese can keep their sovereignty. And so luckily and fortunately, we have this kind of gene for manufacturing. And if we combine our talents and resources and technologies, we can do much better. For example, in semiconductor, okay, U.S. has design capacity, and Japan has MCE capabilities, okay, materials, components, equipment. And South Koreans are very good at manufacturing. So this kind of supply chain of semiconductors are very important, okay, to mitigate risks from outside. But this gene for manufacturing is not given permanently because we, both countries, suffer from aging population. Nowadays in Korea, young people do not work in plants. Okay, they may prefer working in entertainment business like BTS or Blackpink. Okay. More people go to medical schools than to manufacturing sector. I don't know about Japan that much, but similar, I think, phenomena. Okay, but I think it's the opportunity here, given AI. Okay, if we transform our talents accumulated for a long time in the sector of manufacturing, and then if we train AI, okay, to observe knowledge from this manufacturing, then we can save our labor. Okay, then we can deal with aging population, less interest manufacturing more effectively. Okay. And so opportunities are here. Again, I think it's if two countries can be more aligned, can form a partnership, we can deal with geopolitical risks much better. I think that the two giants, United States and China, neither of them is healthy. Okay. Well, institutionally and economically, okay. They need stability. And what countries can make leverage to China and to United States? One country cannot do it. Okay. We have to be united in providing needed stability to United States, needed kind of leverage on China. That is only possible by combining our power, okay, resources, and talents. That is, I think, is our duty as two countries, a stable democracy and stable institutions based on freedom. Okay. That is, I think, duty for the world as well. Okay. Well, South Korea, as you know, that we grew out of war. Okay. When I was born, I think at that time, income per capita was $100. Okay. I cannot imagine how I survived. Okay. But I think that was helped by many countries. And I think South Koreans now feel we have a duty for the world, okay, to make society and the world much better. Okay. And I think Japan is also benefited from other countries. Okay. And these two countries, now it's time to serve the world jointly. Okay. So I think it's leverage through unity, not go it alone. It's time to call leverage through unity. Go it alone policy will fail. Okay. Then I think the question is, okay, well, how to get there? Well, there are detailed proposals published in the review policy report. So you can have a look at this policy report. Okay. But there may be some kind of hesitance, okay, in both countries, in South Korea and Japan. Why? Because of history issue. Okay. Well, you know, Koreans may not trust Japan fully, and Japanese may not trust Korea fully. Okay. Well, if that kind of perception is there, I think that perception may be a bit outdated. If you look at this graph, Institute for Peace and Unification Studies at SNU publish reports about South Koreans' perception about countries, other countries. In 2024, when he asked which country is most favorite to you, okay, about 8 out of 10 people said United States, and followed by Japan. About 10% of South Koreans said Japanese is the most favorite. Okay, so if you add up these two countries, about 90% of South Koreans believe the United States and Japan are most the favorite countries. And afterwards, China, after North Korea, and China, Russia, but altogether, this is less than 10%. When you ask what country is most dangerous to you, then North Korea is number 1, and followed by China and Russia. If we add up the 3 shares, it's 95%. So Japan, okay, may not be the most favorite country overall, but there is improvement in perceptions among South Koreans. Also, many South Koreans believe, okay, Japan is very important to us. That means politicians are less incentivized to play with history issues, okay, in both countries, okay, because we have upward potential. And if we screw up, okay, the relation between two countries, that will cause a lot of risks, okay, given this kind of world situations. That is, I think, important. Then I think some people may say, anyway, we have to wait and see, okay, or what, okay, South government is doing, okay. Well, I think that is, okay, perhaps misleading, outdated, perhaps it's lack of responsibility. I would like to call for more proactive action. Okay, somebody may call it strategic investment to make relations between two countries irreversible. So investment for irreversibility. Well, why politicians are sometimes incentivized, to look at the history issues as main one in the two country relations? Because they may have thought about, upside potential is low and downside risk is low. Then politics is important. But nowadays, the world situation changed this dimension. Upside potential, if we cooperate, become much larger. Downside risk becomes much bigger. If two countries are divided and quarreled, then I think we can be easily swayed by other countries. So we have to think, this time is different. Also, if somebody worries about democracy, I think we have to worry about democracy in other countries, not in Korea, not in Japan. Well, perhaps Japan is the most democratic country, stable democracies for many years. South Korea, unfortunately, there was a martial law last year, but you can see how quickly we resolved the issue. So in Korea, there is democratic resilience. That is given. But this kind of precious tradition cannot be found in many countries nowadays in the world. So in East Asia, two very distinctive democracies, Japan and South Korea. This is our basis for cooperation. Given we share the same value, same institutions, we can work together. That is our foundation for cooperation. And AI. I mentioned about the AI revolution, but when we look at the AI industry, it requires a lot of big things, big money, big data. Unfortunately, South Korea is not big. Japan is not that big compared with China and United States. So if we believe AI and quantum technology will change the landscape of our next generation, how can we make AI revolution beneficial to us, to Koreans and to Japanese? We need a big thing, but we are not big. We have to pool resources, pool talents, combine talents. Well, when I talk to Chinese scholars, they said about Korea and Japan, Japan's advantage in AI revolution. They mentioned about data quality. If we train AI with poor quality data, AI will be poor because they haven't been educated with good data. Garbage in, garbage out. But Korea and Japan have been accumulating a lot of knowledge in manufacturing and in medicine, in other areas. That means with a better or high quality data, we can train, we can develop AI more efficiently. But AI requires big data, so we can pool this data from Korea and Japan together to make AI revolution more beneficial to both countries. Even in manufacturing, we have a lot of tacit knowledge, learning by doing. That cannot be embedded easily in AI and machines. Even though AI is invented and developed, still we need a kind of application of AI to industries. That means physical AI is very important. To make physical AI more efficient, we need to combine this kind of text knowledge embedded in manufacturing. Then I think AI will be trained more effectively, serving our industries, manufacturing much better. Then productivity will increase. And Korea and Japan, both countries now lack dynamism and the growth rates become lower and lower over time. But if we want to reverse the trend, AI may be an opportunity. But this AI revolution should be captured by combining this data, combining text knowledge in both countries. Then I think we can enjoy higher productivity gains. So the time, now this world is big, is beautiful time. The period is big, and big is beautiful. Then we can be big, with a better quality of data, with the pooling our knowledge and resources. Then I think it's what kind of activities we can do together. Well, I mentioned about the irreversibility. Investment is very important. I think to make it irreversible, perhaps we have to think about what kind of economic partnership is popular among Koreans and Japanese young people. Well, I thought about it as an economist. If you look at the EU, well, many people freely work in any countries inside the EU. They don't need a work permit. They go there and work without permission from the government. Well, we cannot do it just instantaneously, but we can start with something, labor market integration, especially for young people. In Japan, I know that most of Japanese graduates from universities can get a job. 98% of Japanese graduates can get a job. In South Korea, unfortunately, the number is about 70%. I was very sad to look at the figure. 240,000 young people in South Korea are unemployed for more than 3 years. And they graduate from universities. They were ready to work, but not so many good jobs are available. And they are at home, spending 3 years without having jobs. This chronic youth unemployment is a big loss, for the society and for the individuals. If these Koreans can get a job in Japan, they can develop their talents, they can develop opportunities to be better worker, and the better opportunity to serve the country and to serve themselves and their families. I think South Koreans also have advantage. We have highly paid jobs. Samsung Electronics, SK Hynix. I was told that starting salary for university graduates is about 50,000 US dollars, perhaps higher than in Japan. Well, if Japanese graduate work in this firm in South Korea and they learn from their work, they can start their companies. A kind of knowledge sharing is possible by providing opportunities for young people in both countries. Choose freely, where to work in Japan, in Korea, and then they can develop their skills, and find entrepreneurship. And then they can make their sort of companies laterwards. So I would like to suggest the first one is gradual integration in the labor markets, starting from young people. So without necessary work permit, they can choose where to work. Perhaps we have to support them. Then a fund may be necessary to support their settlements. Learn language, and initial settlement may be helped by society by providing some fund. And of course, the second one is supply chain. Resilience is very important. Well, I mentioned about semiconductors. Starting from software design to production. If United States, Japan, South Korea work together, we can make this kind of supply chain more resilient. Then the question is, how to obtain, how to buy, purchase, say, rare earth, okay, critical minerals. That is question, okay, headache we have to think about nowadays. But if we are bulk buyers, if Japanese companies and Korean companies buy together, we can have some bigger leverage on the sellers, okay? And also we can jointly invest, okay, in mines and share resources. This is important, okay, for the companies. Companies can be more ready for disruptions in supply chain by working together. I think South Korean companies will be very happy, okay, with this kind of proposal, co-investment and co-purchase, okay, rare earth and critical minerals, if necessary, okay. Well, that is kind of deterrence, okay, against any kind of attempt to disrupt supply chain, okay, because that gives signals we will act together, okay. Of course, it's not a close, okay, partnership. The reason we call the title of this partnership Japan, Korea Plus, okay. Plus means it's open to other countries. So we can put in this supply chain alliance, if I call it, okay, well, other countries like EU, okay, Australia, and Taiwan, if necessary, okay, is open to other countries. So it's not just 2 countries, but open to other countries. If we act together, okay, then we can make better companies and better society and better world. Also, and then I think this kind of cooperation includes a specialization under friend shoring. Okay. Well, given this kind of uncertainty, a kind of natural choice or tendency is to put everything in our country, okay, reshoring. But reshoring is very costly. Okay. I will talk about the United States manufacturing later, but if Japanese, okay, want to have all kind of industries, okay, inside Japan, not possible. It will be very costly. A specialization under friend shoring is the first strategy. Of course, we have to be ready and protect our industries from possible disruptions. Therefore, we need backup option. So backup investment to foster supply chain resilience is also important. Okay? So specialization under friend shoring plus backup option or backup investment to foster a supply chain resilience. Okay? This has to be combined. The third one I would like to suggest is a currency swap. Now it's Korean, I think bank has about 10 billion US dollar swap with Japan. Okay? Why not increase to 3 times, which it used to be. Okay? Recently, there was renewal of currency swap between China and Korea. I think the ceiling was about 56 billion dollars. Okay? Japan is 10 billion US dollars. Now is the Korean won is under pressure of depreciation. One reason is Korea's investment inside United States. As we need the money, US dollars. Okay? That is why Korea won has been depreciating, okay, for last several months. Okay? And currency swap may be a good kind of bolster, okay, to Korean won. So currency swap can be considered, okay, by both countries. And we haven't mentioned this one, explicitly, but perhaps I can say that it's a good time for South Korea and perhaps Australia to be included in G9. Then I think South Koreans can be persuaded to provide more resources for the world, okay, and to fulfill our joint responsibility with other countries. That can be a kind of, Japanese initiative, okay? Well, Japan may say, why not include Korea as one of G9 countries? Okay. Then I think its 2 country relations may improve fast enough, okay? And when I gave this kind of proposal to students in Japan, I asked which proposal or policy suggestion like most. They said sports league integration, okay? Baseball or soccer, football, okay? We cannot start with all professional sports league at the same time, but perhaps we can select one of these and try to go, okay? And young people like it, okay? Again, I think it's the investment in culture is also important, okay? Before I came here, you mentioned throat contest in which Japanese singers and Korean singers, okay, participate together. This, I think, very good attempt. In that way, I think culture can be shared, and people from both countries are more familiar with other country culture. That will be our basis as well. So joint investment, having some fund, okay, in cultural, okay, activities, which I think is very good attempt. So with this kind of a proposal, I would like to say that it's time, okay, for both countries to start real, meaningful, okay, work to serve each country, to serve the mutual interests of both countries, to serve our value and institutions better, and to give stability to the United States, for example. Okay. In that way, we can serve the world better. Now it's time to act. Thank you so much.